What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ectoplasm Show. My name is Josh Hurd, and joining me is my good pal, partner in crime, Mr. Jason Kupsik. What is cracking, Playboy?
I am absolutely exhausted right now, to be honest with you.
You still look handsome as hell, though.
Well, it's
Yep.
is Jersey. It's the
It's
Jersey
got to
for
be the
sure.
jersey.
I've had
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of long hours this week, and I'm lucky I got off in time to make it to this interview.
Well,
And
glad.
I'm very, very excited to see what kind of information Patrick has for us.
Definitely. So, joining us uh, is Patrick Chittick. Now, Patrick, first of all, thank you for doing this and coming on here and chatting with us. Um, we're super excited to hear your side of this story that's still unfolding, and it's interesting to me. I mean, like, I guess let's start back at the beginning, right? Like, you moved to the area. How long have you been in the area?
We've lived in this place for a little over 3.5 years now.
Okay.
We moved here the second time they closed 34 during the flood was
Oh,
when I drove the final U-Haul trailer over the river and had to take the Bellevue toll bridge home
wow.
or to return the truck.
Is the Bellevue
But
toll
prior to
bridge still standing? Just out
that,
of curiosity.
yeah,
That's
the
crazy.
Bellevue toll bridge is good. The Flatsmith one is the one that you can't take a big truck on.
That's what I'm thinking of. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that one's
crazy.
down to a 3 ton limit. So
Wow.
anything larger than a full size truck, and they go, no, no,
It's not
you
happening.
can't do this. Yeah.
So 3.5 years ago, you moved to the area. And I mean, what was it about the area that drew you here? Or was it just convenience?
It was a little bit of both. I was pure dumb luck. I'm really good friends with the family that owns the property. They had had a bad string of renters. I mean, Impromptu Chop Shop was the prior renter. Sat empty for a year, I think, after that.
Yeah.
The sheriffs know the property well. Our chief of police in Tabor, force of one, always comical to me. Um, he actually told me when he came out one day that I have arrested everybody that's been in this place. I was like, not going to happen with me. You're good there.
Yeah.
You might come out, but you're not going to be coming to arrest me.
It is crazy.
um, but yeah, so basically, we had lived in Plattsmouth for about 5 years. Got to know the family. Um, they helped us when we had problems. I worked with them quite often, just part time stuff, helping out around my schedule. Always willing to give a hand to anybody that needs help. As for me, as long as you're helping yourself, I'll do everything I can to help you.
Yeah.
And it was returned the same. They had this property. They offered it to us because they knew we did not like being in town. When we were in Texas prior to this, we were 45 minutes from a grocery store. The only place you could spend actual money was the local bar that 90% of the people showed up on ATVs or UTVs.
Yeah.
It was cash only, cheap beer, limited selection, but cheap cold beer, which was perfect.
Sure.
Um, so we've always, me and my wife and the kids, we've always lived a little more on the rural. This is almost city for us, being 7 miles from a town.
Right.
Loosely use the word town, but
Yeah. It's
yeah, I mean there's some food. There's a Dollar General. So, I mean we're coming up in the world.
it is funny, right? So my wife and we joke all the time and say, "Oh, I got to go to Tabor Target." You know what I mean? And cruise over to the Dollar General
Uh,
there. Yeah,
I like that. I like that. That's I'm gonna have to use that one.
definitely. So I mean, for the most part, like, quiet living, it's a safe place. It's quiet. It's a good place to raise a family and all of that. And now this happens. I mean, I'm curious, I guess, to know, like, did you receive this information with basically the Newsweek article, or were there other things that was like knocks on the door, things like that, before that Newsweek article hit?
To be very blunt and purely honest, I've got no dog in the fight on this. I don't have any real prior history on the family or whatnot, but we were warned by one of the sisters about the stories. Basically, had been given a hey, by the way, Lucy says this, things have been said, it's been going on for years. Last year, we did get a warning saying, oh, hey, the FBI is investigating, they're supposed to be coming out. But that was never proven, and no way, nobody reached out to us, nobody came to our property. It was just one of those like, okay, just another story, another rumor.
Yeah.
As you guys know, and I've heard you guys mention, Green Hollow does have its own um, past and lore. It's been pretty cool reading and finding out more about that history. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff to me. I'm a history guy. I love just knowing more and learning about how people lived in times that were, well, nowhere near like what we have now. You didn't have the Haber Target down the road. It was make it or you don't have it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And yeah, like you said, it's a safe place. The school's pretty good. We do have an autistic son, and they've worked extremely well with him. We fought Platt Smith for years trying to get everything sorted for him. And the year we moved, we had finally gotten to that right place. And Fremont Mills was 400% better.
Yeah.
Working with them.
That's good to hear, man.
Working with them. Yeah, it was very nice. It was a nice change. We had heard good things, but you hear a lot of good things about everywhere until you dive in. Then you find out what it's really like.
Right.
How long before the national news articles went out there did somebody say something to you that this might be coming? Because you said that there's, what was that after the article that they approached you, or?
No, we were warned. I mean, it was God, last year or the year before 4th of July. I'm not 100% sure that we had met one of the sisters. I don't want to get two finger pointing on us, so I'm not going to really point who or where. But we were told about it. And
did
we
they
invited
approach you at the property, or I guess they would have had to.
Okay. It was a family event over at Platt Smith. The current owners are related to Don. It's been in the family since 1921. The first deed ever for the property was directly to the family. And one of the things we were told when we were offered to move out here and we accepted was, okay, that's great. You can rent as long as you want. I'll never sell it.
Yeah.
Cool. Works for me. I mean, 5 acres, middle of nowhere, literally shooting range. Every which way I turn, there's a high enough berm that if I shoot somebody, I mean to. So no accidental issues, which is beautiful. I do enjoy my firearms here. Out here, I'm lucky to get a 45-minute response time for anything. So
sure, yeah.
we are the first and last line of everything. First aid, all of it. But to us, that's a benefit. I'd rather have that than sirens every day. I mean, at worst, I hear a semi-truck drive by.
Yeah.
But to get back to it, sorry, I do ramble.
It's all right.
No, it's fine.
We do too. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were kind of given a heads up about some of the stories, and this was before the FBI thing last year that we heard. We do communicate with the family a good bit to let them know what we're hearing or find out if they have any information or acknowledgement of what's going on. But the actual news story was how we found out there was more going on. Like Newsweek broke. Lucy had come by the day before to the property. My wife was home and she walked her around the property, kind of pointing out that was, the direction we went when we left the house to supposedly dispose of bodies. This is where we had a garden. This is where the trailer was, the old trailer. The current trailer is not where any of the activity would have happened.
Yeah.
That trailer long gone. It burned down, I think, mid-90s. So it's not something that is likely to have had any activity in or anybody doing anything more entertaining than getting drunk. But
It's all right if you don't want to comment on it, but her state of mind or her care, like Lucy's, how did she act? How did she seem while she was there at the property? What was
she wasn't
your
in
wife's impressions of her?
she seemed a little. I'm going to paraphrase here, and my wife probably is the better person on that one. But she didn't seem out of it. She wasn't, really in any way. Didn't seem like mental capacity was diminished.
Okay.
A little frantic, but being on the property where your memories are saying this is what happened, or where your brain's going, hey, this is
Sure.
where. I can understand it.
Yeah.
Whether it's actual memories or mental changes, I don't know. But yeah, it's been. She was all there for what we know. She drove out here on her own, made the statements and the recollections, pointed out more than a few spots where interesting things had happened, and that was about it. But was very polite, no way pushy, didn't get agitated or anything.
Did she allude or say that the article was coming?
She said that they had been up on the hill and they had the cadaver dogs out, but we didn't actually know there was a news article or anything until it was online.
Okay, so that where the cadaver dogs were first taken, that was off of the property you currently live on.
Correct.
Or
yeah, it was about
okay.
half a mile-ish away overland.
So it's interesting to me because it's like the story hits, and now, I mean, this area that you moved to specifically for the peace, the quiet, to be away from everything, now center stage. It's now in the limelight, right? And everybody's talking about this. I mean, for Christ's sake, I saw something on Court TV about this. They did like a 12 to 15-minute segment on this. It's like people are talking about this. For God's sake, I saw, just for an example, gentlemen, I saw I don't know, I forget this guy's name. This guy represented Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It was his attorney is commenting on this. And I'm like, this is reaching far and wide. So now this story hits, and again, like, your small, quiet chunk of land here is now center stage. I mean, what happens next?
For us, nothing changes, other than getting a little defensive about the property. We've been parking a car across what's technically county road, right at the driveway to our garage. It's just been an onslaught. That's a little overstating it. We've had a pretty steady supply of headlights driving down the road and cars showing up to looky-loo. Only a few have gotten out of their cars. Normally they just back up or do an 18-point U-turn. Pretty comical. You can tell who's local and who's not.
Right.
We have had more than a few people come up the property from the backside, which is rather adventurous. I mean, you're talking 30-foot drop with a very steep bank that you've got to be putting effort in to even get to where that is.
Wow.
We've had to kind of rearrange our camera system, cover more of the property that was never a concern. I'm not your crazy survivalist, but I am very, very high on my family's personal security.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you all know that you're here before you know you're here, type of thing.
Yep.
And I don't want it to get to that point. That's a big part of why I'm coming out publicly like this. And I've been on Facebook posting saying, please just stop.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to bring up too. I thought the Facebook post that you made, and it was again that even that post had been shared, numerous times had been shared. So I mean, hundreds, if not thousands, of people then saw this post, and I thought it was very well done on your part. It was like, you know what, like we appreciate this. We have nothing to do with this. Kindly piss off. You know what I mean? Like you have no business being there because they don't. Like even on that road, that road stops at your house. You know what I mean? Like, that's where it stops.
Literally dead end into the trailer. And
that's just it. I mean, it's like that road is your driveway. That's it.
Yeah. 250 yards of the county road. There is zero purpose to be on it unless you're coming to our place.
Exactly.
That's why
you guys as a neighborhood, you guys, you should get with your neighbors and put like one of those Soviet style like boxes down at the end of the road with one of those big long arms that come up, and then charge like $10 to drive down the road.
Right. Unfortunately, the county would probably want $12 per person if we did that.
Yeah, probably.
And it is still technically a public road. They will not allow us to block it off. Yeah. The county has removed the road sign saying the road name. They also put up a road closed to through traffic sign, which apparently the dead end sign didn't, cover that. But
yeah,
and I can understand it. The curiosity is out there, and I'm not going to say I would go out of my way to drive down the road and see the place, but you're not going to break the case. You're not going to see anything even close to the site they're looking at. I mean, I can go to the very highest point of my property, and I have zero visibility of where the cadaver dogs did hit.
Right.
And like I said, it's about half a mile from the trailer. It's not close. It's the type of walk you don't want to take. You're not driving there. That's a big part of the issue. I've never seen a truck. I've seen four-wheelers. I've seen UTVs. But I've never seen an actual truck until the cadaver dog, the gentleman Jim that was running the cadaver dogs is out here.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I've seen an actual vehicle.
So, I mean, for the most part, when they are doing their investigations, their things like that, I mean, even with the dogs and stuff, I mean, are they knocking on your door? Are they letting you know what they're up to? Just as a courtesy type of thing, or
being a tenant instead of the actual landowner, the landowners let us know they were going to be on the property. I mean, I have, my Fourth Amendment covers my direct area. I have right to my privacy of my home and for the most part directly the land. But with how much land there is and how spaced it is, I don't really have a lot of argument saying, hey, you guys have to get permission from me. Yeah. I could push it. I could be an ass, but it's not going to do me any good. And I don't care. I'd rather them find out.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, if it ends up becoming a valid case and them substantiating the claims, I mean, $200 a campsite. Halloween's going to pay rent for the year. Let's go.
People
That's the truth,
obviously love their serial killers. I mean, they're all over the Jeffrey Dahmer thing right now.
Just going to bring that up. And that massive. just hit on Netflix, and it is massive. So many people are talking about this. And I mean, even now, like Dahmer's dad is like suing Netflix because it was all bullshit and he's telling this wrong and telling that wrong. I'm like, oh my God, like this is a thing. People love true crime. They love, I don't know what it is. Like, why is it that we, like the human condition likes to see like this, I don't know what it is that fascinates us about this, the macabre, right? But that's what it is.
Well, it's kind of the same thing with like, the scare houses, your haunted houses.
I'm in one right now, brother. I'm in one right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like just the fake, the haunted houses you go to for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's that we like things that scare us, but it's even better when it's on TV and it can't in any way touch us.
That's fair.
That's
Tell
true,
me
but
about
there
the
are
guy
the
that
ladies
killed
that
somebody.
like write people in prison,
I
and they
met-
marry serial killers that are away for life. And
I met
I
one.
guess that for the most part, those serial killers are not getting out of prison. They don't actually have to spend time with them.
That's a
But
thing. It's a thing.
true crime,
Oh,
like
that
true
and the attention
crime,
that comes from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm dating the serial killer. I haven't touched him
Exactly.
ever.
Yeah. It's like, no, there's no possibility of even a conjugal visit, but yeah, we're dating. It's
I mailed him my panties.
that stuck to the tape.
I'm
Why
going to
is
go
that
ahead and
a-
volunteer Josh for the live music portion of your Halloween camp out.
Well, that could be fun. That could be fun. Yeah.
Well,
Josh,
there's some very, very comical and limited discussion of having a comedy special in it too,
Oh my God. That would be fun.
as a fundraiser.
Man, that could be interesting. Holy crap, man. It's fascinating to me. Like this, I don't know, man. The whole scenario was weird anyway, right? It's like, again, you guys move out there for peace and quiet, and you're thrown into this situation. I mean, never asking for any of this, and now
Right.
here you are. And it's just bizarre to me that all of this is happening the way it is. And I'm interested, obviously, in the story because I'm 5 minutes away, and I'm interested, I guess, to see how everything unfolds. I want to know who's telling the truth. I want to know who's maybe lying. I want to know what's going on here.
Right?
And
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We all want to hear an answer. We want to know. The one thing that keeps killing me the most, though, is because I can't help it. I go look at the different videos people have put out and the comments on them. Oh, well, the sheriff doesn't want to really find out. It's like, no, he does. But it takes a lot more than a guy with a backhoe coming out and digging it up. I mean, I've had offers, literally messages on Facebook. Hey, I've got a buddy with a backhoe. We want to come out and start digging. Like, we have equipment. There's no lack of equipment in the farming county. Like 90% of the people here have more equipment than you can throw at. I mean, there's just barns of equipment.
Yeah.
It's technical skill. It's a lot more than dig it up. And that's one thing the mass media side of it is killing me on, and they're even kind of pushing that narrative. Like well, I mean, when are we going to get answers? Why can't we do this quicker?
But that's just it, though. I mean, let's think about this right now. I mean, I woke up this morning and it was 68 degrees. And then my kids are getting on the bus and it drops to like 45 in like 3 seconds. Like we are like winter is knocking on the door here. It's like this is going to take months. And I want people to understand like this isn't just going to be like, oh, we're going to know next week. We're probably not going to know next week. This is going to be a big undertaking. If they're doing what they're saying they most likely would do. Like, I know they tried something a decade ago. I get it. And it didn't bear fruit. I understand that too. And it's like, it's a difficult process and I don't know. It's weird.
And that's one thing I did want to address. I think I had heard you mentioned it. They were saying they had done a excavation prior. I think it was 07 is what the articles were
something
saying.
Like that. Yes.
Yeah, and cost $300,000. That's apparently the telephone game coming into the journalism world. Because if you read the different articles out there, they're all rewriting and regurgitating the same information.
Yeah.
But apparently, reading comprehension is not required on the journalism side. Because they twisted that a lot, and they've pulled out things like, hey, she's been saying it for 50 years. Then the next one will say for 5 years. There's been a lot of that kind of happening. And one thing I will say is, from what I know, what I've been told, they came out, they looked at the property. That was this property.
Oh, I see.
There is a well on the property that was hand dug 100 years ago. I still have it open because I like it. Personally, to me, it's a big root cellar. Okay, cool. Did get a funny look from the sheriff deputies when I said, yeah, I like having that. I'd rather put a shed over it. And hey, who doesn't like a place to dump stuff? Got a pretty funny look there. It was like, oh, no, not like that. Nope. But yeah.
Oh, man.
Just the memory you want the deputies to have of you when, no, Mr. Chittick, please step out of the car with your hands up.
Damn it.
But, but so they came and checked this property, and there was zero signs of anything, zero evidence. But at the same time, we're talking late 80s at the latest from what I've found would have been any activity. I mean, this wasn't in the 2000s. It wasn't in the 1990s.
So there you go then. Yeah. So, I mean, so we did report that wrong then, or we did mention that wrong. I mean, we were just reading from an article.
You read an article that got very confused.
Yeah.
And it happened a lot. I mean, I go through different articles and just giggle because I'm like, where the hell are you guys pulling this from?
It's weird, right? But again, they can do that, and all they have to do is print a retraction on the last page of the next issue, and nobody even sees it.
You were wrong.
Darn it.
Sorry.
It's like the damage has been done. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's
crazy.
Like the neighbor's property being pictured and used and claimed. All it did was really put some safety concerns on their side because their property, that area is very accessible. Anybody can drive up the road, park there. Breaking and entering is not an uncommon thing in the middle of nowhere. When you don't think anyone's around, it's not hard to kick a door open.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we were remodeling the inside of this place, we had multiple issues. We had someone kick in the door, take all the flooring that we had not physically put down. Tools stolen. Oh yeah, middle and just the middle of winter, basically, the year before we moved in, so the year before the flood.
Yeah.
We were out here doing a lot of work to get it more livable than the condition it had been.
Sure.
And yeah, I lost multiple tools. They left the window open, cut the screen to put the flooring into the back of the truck. That was right. We had just gotten, or right after that, we had pretty cold snap, just got a lot of snow. I came over in my Jeep at the time, and I couldn't go over the snowbank the plow had left because it wasn't a current resided in residence. They just blocked the road with the snow to let our neighbors be able to get in and out free, but I couldn't even make it over the 4-foot drift.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even check on it. And when we did get up here, window was open, all the propane had been burned out, and I lost 2 toilets. Basically every water containing appliance was down.
Wow. That's interesting. I mean, it sucks, obviously, but yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is. It's a very, very secluded place. It was kind of a druggy hangout when it was empty for the year plus.
Yeah.
A lot of people came up here doing things like burning wire so they could get the copper clean, stolen wire, bonfire. Nobody comes up here. Nobody cares. And it was what it was. We had quite a few run-ins early on, and that's why we have cameras. They were put up as soon as I had internet out here, and I can check the cameras from anywhere. So I set up an alarm promotion, and guess what? More than a few people got phone calls about.
Yep.
But in the end, by the time they get out here, they're usually gone.
Yeah. They come and go.
So as this story progresses, unless very soon they say they're not going to dig, or they give a reason not for digging, or she says she was lying, it's only going to get worse for the amount of people coming out there. As soon as a shovel or an excavator hits the dirt, there's just going to be a flood of people, and especially if they find anything, probably forever. Like, there'll be a podcast like ours in 20 years saying, You remember that story that broke? Let's do this thing. And so you can secure your property, but would there be an amount of attention, a steady attention coming out there that would make you, because you moved out there for a reason, right? If it becomes busy all the time with looky-loos trying to get, would you think about moving?
I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
The point I'm at, I mean, me personally, it is minimal issue in my life. It doesn't really bother me. Um, it just is what it is. But I've lived in LA, I've lived in Austin, I've lived in Dallas. I mean, I've lived big city life, I've lived middle of nowhere. I roll with the punches. Both my parents were Air Force. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I've always been very easygoing about that. My wife and kids, not as much. They do not enjoy it. They're the ones home a lot more too, so they deal with it. We'll do what we can to mitigate it. And again, being the capitalist I am, you throw me an opportunity that's going to make me money, and okay, we'll find a way to turn it into a positive thing for it.
Yeah.
Short of it coming down to physical altercations, I don't see us leaving because of it.
And as far as like, I don't know, man, like your gut feeling, right? I'm not asking anything like that. I'm saying like gut feeling as far as like, how long do you think this is going to take? Like, how long are you guys going to have to deal with this? Just your gut instinct here.
Yeah, if it ends up being false and there's zero truth to it, they don't find any evidence of anything other than a well and dirt, and the cadaver dogs were completely, hitting on wrong things, I would say probably a year.
Yeah.
Just the follow up from people that don't believe that there isn't the chance that it wasn't. I mean, I've seen Facebook groups where there are people truly upset and pissed off because you're doubting Lucy. They don't know who she is. They have zero, nothing. They've never met her. They have nothing to go on other than I heard a story and I'm excited about it. I think I want it to be true.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll always have those people no matter what. People trying to come out and, well, I want to find it. I know I can find it. Sure. Good luck. By the way, my neighbors aren't much friendlier than me.
Sure.
It's like I've even had a few people reach out to me and they said like, oh, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, but you're not going to do X, Y, and Z. You're not going to be allowed to do X, Y, and Z. As much as you think you're entitled to do that, you're not. It's like, let's just let the authorities do their job and stay the fuck out of their way so they can do their job, but whatever. But
yeah, it's like they, got schooling and training and equipment to do these things. I don't think my my metal detector and my backhoe are gonna trump their knowledge.
Right. And that was another thing is in one of the articles that we did read, it was talking about using ground penetrating radar and things like that, or the potential to use some form of technology like that, which I think is great. But at the same time, like, I don't think it would work. Would it? Like, I mean, you're talking about a 90-foot well. Like, I don't know. Like,
well, I think that's more on the lines of the shallow graves that
I see
the dog supposedly hit on.
I see. Okay.
I think that would be applicable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would apply. But at the same time, as they've mentioned in multiple articles, there's been groundwork done up there. I mean, again, this is an active ranch. It's a cattle ranch. They are doing, logging. They're getting rid of trees. They're putting in fencing. They're doing all sorts of dirt moving, either to facilitate bringing in equipment. Seriously, like, this is rugged terrain.
Yeah.
There's places you can't drive a vehicle from this point to this point over here that's 10 feet. And you just can't. You'd have to bring in a bridge to get over that 10 foot, or you go the half a mile around. Again, I mean, it's not a fun place to drive anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's also the issue with like bringing in the equipment to do a core drilling on the
Yeah.
well side. You got to get a rather large piece of machinery to that place. They're
It's like, and
not
how do you
designed to
even do
really
that?
go over. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
you almost have to halfway build a road.
honestly, it sounds like the perfect place to hide a bunch of bodies.
Shocker.
I mean,
Hey,
it does.
my personal outlook on this entire thing. If they don't find bodies, I will be shocked.
Yeah.
50 to 70, I think, is extremely outrageous and exaggerated.
I would agree.
2, 3, 5, highly possible. Do I think they're connected to Dawn? No, I don't. I don't have any reason to think they would be connected to Dawn. But we are talking about an area of the county that was inhabited by early pioneers, the Mormons that settled the place. They all were up there. The poor farm of the or early 1900s that was located there.
It
You have
sat
a
right
lot
there,
of
didn't it?
yeah.
Didn't it sit right
That was
there?
the well.
Yes.
That was the
Yeah.
well that they used for the poor farm, from what I've been able to read and what I've found. And that's just kind of, I mean, you've got too many years of really hard life for some really rough and tough people. And like the Lord says, this is not the area you come down with a bad attitude at the wrong time. There was plenty of people over the years that wouldn't have really thought twice before they put you in the hole up there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
people aren't
And
all
they
nice.
would know.
People aren't all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would be able to tell right away the age of the body.
Well, that'd be another 6-month process.
Sure, no, of
Probably,
course.
yeah.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
another process, but they would be able to. I did see a story yesterday that said they had a third cadaver dog out there just recently and had another hit. A fourth one now?
They had 4. Yeah, they had 4 out. They had 2 originally come out. Those were the 2 that had the original hits. The second set was when they came to our property. I left work early. Basically, I got the heads up from the landowner saying, "Hey, by the way, the sheriff and the cadaver dogs are going to be searching the property." I said, "Okay, cool." Called my boss and said, "I'll be back."
Gotta go.
I immediately got to my car, got home, and I got here right after the dogs and the sheriffs got here. The guy running the dogs, his name is Jim. Great pups. Only one of them went after my chicken, and that was the German Shepherd. He didn't get him. He's an older pup.
No,
Great, cute pup, but very well demeanored until that chicken ran in front of him. He was like, "Ooh, I want to chase that." But quickly got reined in. I mean, he didn't even come close. But yeah, they went up and around the whole property that we have here. I do see some trees that they tape. I was told, or I was not told they had any hits on our property. I knew of near a fence, and I'm assuming that's near the fence because those are kind of in a line going towards that fence, and there was markers on the other side.
Oh.
Again, I wasn't told there was hits. I was basically told there was no hits, and that they had not searched the original site with those 2 dogs when I was in contact with the deputies. But I was told that they had one possible hit on an area that was similar, but not. They didn't even hit on the same spot as the prior dog.
Wow.
Okay.
At that point.
Wow.
So again, that wasn't the well site as far as I know, and I was told.
Yeah.
So it could be completely wrong. Could be telling me what they think I want to hear or what's going on. But
That's interesting, though.
Now, in your Facebook messages, I was the one you were speaking to. You did mention that you had some information about the dog's abilities, more so than we talked about on our last episode.
yeah. So what I was told about the dog's abilities, they can detect up to 200 years old.
Wow. That's a lot
They
farther
have,
back.
Crazy.
yeah, 70-foot depth was, again, what I was told. This came from the deputies, because we were talking about it. We spent 2.5 hours basically just BSing while
Yeah.
a guy worked, and the rest of us went, "Cool, how you doing?"
70
Again,
feet,
that's
that
how-
seems super excessive.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
historically, unless you're digging down and burying something 70 feet, I guess a well would be about that deep. There's
Correct.
not going to be any bodies down there that weren't placed down there.
Yeah.
Right. And it was one of those. So in that same conversation, they told me that the way they train at least these dogs, what they were told, was at some of the old Civil War sites. That's how they can get an idea on the age that they can hit on. I guess a little more on the depth and their abilities, and how to verify that they're hitting on cadaver smell, not Billy Bob's deer that he didn't pick up.
Yep.
Yeah, because that was one of my concerns. They walked right over a site that one of my pups that we had to put down a little over a year ago was buried. Not even a glance or an extra sniff. We have a few other livestock pets, rabbits and whatnot, that are buried in other spots, and again went right over them. Not even a blurb on their screen. They just walked right on by. So that,
Wow.
to me, that at least verified that, all right, I know there's multiple things buried there that died and are within 2 years,
Yeah.
and they just walked right on
Wow.
by. So
I mean,
I
that is
have
pretty
heard
interesting.
that pig bones are an issue.
So we read that.
That-
Yes. It's like, what's the deal with that? Is the marrows or something like that? I mean, is it similar in nature? I don't know, but
Yeah, I've got zero clue on it. It was in glancing on reading that I saw that and heard that mentioned other places, but actual reason why, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Like Koopsik, you had brought that up. I mean, because we had questions about
Yeah,
the
there was
dogs and all that.
something about one of the particular chemicals that's produced in the decay was very similar to one that is produced in human, and that's
Yeah.
actually what the dog looks for, is that particular compound.
Interesting.
You also mentioned that you had a little more information on Don's health in the later years of his life, and where, like, potentially I infer from that maybe if he lived there up until his death.
He ended up in a retirement home. He was not out here, till the day he died. And really, more of that was in the mid '90s. He had an accident involving some heavy equipment. It severely diminished his physical abilities. So rolling a wheelbarrow up, half a mile to a mile up the hill, that wasn't happening.
Not gonna happen.
That's why I was saying. I mean, like, at the latest, you're looking at the mid to late '80s.
Yeah,
because Lucy was saying that
somewhat.
she helped her father over several decades, but also, I mean, obviously, I mean, clearly we only have the articles to go off of, but there's so many inconsistencies in it that we don't really know where to
And where I
think, or
think
what to
that's
think of
getting
that.
kind of confused is she was saying, from what I've read and been able to kind of pick out, she helped when she was younger, but she was saying the activity was going for decades.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that's what I believe is there's no way she could have been involved for 30 years and not be looking at prison time herself.
Right. Exactly what we said too. Like, at what point does she become an accomplice? Right.
And that's actually what that lawyer for Harvey Weinstein was saying in part of his comments, was that if it comes out that it's not true or not true, she said that he said in some way that she may be liable if she did help move the bodies at some point.
Oh, I see.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no way around that. If you're 28, throwing a body over your shoulder going up the hill, you don't even live in the property. Hey, come on over. We got some work to do. Oh, let me drive on over. No, you're a lot more than an innocent bystander that got put into
Right.
the situation. So I believe it wasn't an actual I was helping for the decades. It was more of she's claiming that activity happened in that time frame. Now again, this is also not going to say conjecture, but this is what my opinion of how it really is worded or should have been worded.
Mm-hmm.
The articles have been severely sensationalized. We 10 years ago or 13 years ago now. I don't do math this late. Um, she was saying 5 to 15 bodies. She knew for sure of 5 is what she was claiming. That's when the prior investigation ish happened. They came out and looked. I believe wholeheartedly on this. It was pushed. I don't necessarily believe it was pushed by Lucy.
Yeah.
There are some players in the game that do stand to make money from the situation and from the story. I'm not going to point any fingers, but I think we've all seen some of the same videos, and there's definitely some people that are, in my eyes, pushing it as hard as they can, and I believe it would be for personal benefit. To me, though, it's the same with like the sheriff. He has no reason to hide it. He's got nothing to do with it. Right. If anything, he's going to profit, not monetarily, but politically. He'll be known as the guy that found.
And then the next election cycle. Yeah. See, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's like, not monetarily, but certainly. Come the next election, come whatever, like he could definitely benefit from that in some way too, of course.
So if he was severely diminished in the 90s, let's just say, for example, that's when the killing stopped, and they find 5, maybe even 10 bodies somewhere. If there's none of his DNA there, they cannot. They can tangentially attach it to him, but Lucy looks just as guilty in my mind, potentially, as he does, because she led them there.
I mean,
what I'm saying is there's unless there's DNA evidence of him being there, even if they find 70 bodies, they can't 100% say that he did this.
Correct. I don't know how it can be proven other than, we're down to her word against a guy that's been dead for 9 years.
So, I mean, hypothetically then, let's entertain that for a minute.
Let's
say they find, so they find 15 bodies. Let's say that, right? And then again, like what you just said, Koopsik, like there's no way to tie him or tie anybody really to it definitively. So then what happens? Does it just become lore? I mean, you have bodies, like you have physical bodies, something happened. But now it just becomes local legend, local lore, and now shit, like you thought you had people coming to your property before.
Well, yeah, because now
buckle up, right? Like, come on.
I think it'll cut my trick or treater traffic in like at least 75%. So we'll go from 0 to 0. Definitely not trick or treater.
Now
my kids won't even come to the door at that point.
And another article that I just saw, that was a Newsweek article that came out yesterday. It said that she had claimed that he kept gold teeth from these bodies. I didn't see that anywhere else, but those have to be somewhere.
I don't think they do.
And that's something that we have heard as well, and it's actually a big part of why we had a guy so we had ABC out of Chicago doing some B-roll footage of the property. Kept the house out of it. It wasn't about that. It was okay, this is the area. We let them shoot the area where the markers were, and they followed one of the weekly guests on the Todd and Tyler Cornyn show. He's a metal detector, or he likes doing metal detectors. So I offered him the opportunity to come out. So they followed him around and shot him doing some metal detecting, did a quick interview with him. But that was a big part of that. I was like, The family said no random, gold teeth or containers with things like that was found. So if it's out here, it's buried, or it got it got yeeted a long time ago into a dump somewhere.
Yeah.
But if it's out here, okay, let's find it.
Definitely.
My son actually just bought a metal detector himself because he was like, I want to do that. It's like,
Hey,
cool,
Daddy,
you have a
look
lot
at
more
this
time.
thing I found.
That's cool as shit,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, if there's something here, I'd rather it be found. If
No,
there is
absolutely.
validity to the story, I want it to be known. Like I said, I've got zero dogs in the fight. I'm like not concerned either way, legality wise. I mean, the worst outcome for us is it never gets disproven or proven, or I have to move because, well, the county's going to fight it, or the people that own the place decide we don't want you there anymore. And that's part of why I also haven't done interviews.
Yeah.
I don't want to go on national TV saying this or that. I don't have any real valid facts that are, hard set of what or why things could have happened or did not.
Yeah.
And if the family asks me not to do any interviews, I'm going to oblige.
Absolutely.
Because again, I've got nothing in this other than I'm the guy that gets to deal with all the people.
Yeah. And I mean, you've known the family for years now too, Yeah.
And it's extended family. It's not directly Studi.
Right.
I mean, it's directly Studi bloodline, but not Studi's.
Right. Right. So, I mean, kind of the final thing, just kind of starting to wrap things up here, right? What would you have to say? Oh, I'm sorry. I just said kind of like the final thing here, just to kind of start to wrap things up, is like, what would you tell people? Like, I mean, I know you made the Facebook post and all of that fun jazz. I mean, is there anything else that you would like to say to anybody else who's listening right now?
Yeah. Absolutely. We are more than willing to work with the authorities. We're more than willing to work with even the media when things are actively going. At this point, we have sporadic hour or two of activity from law enforcement. You're not going to find anything coming to our property. You're not going to find anything sneaking onto the neighbor's property that the suspected site is. You're not going to help anything in any way by coming out here. We are out here living in peace. After this all settles down and gets proven or disproven, like I said, I am more than willing to let people come out. They want to see it, reach out to us. Yeah. So this is absolute. Right now, all you're going to do is get in the way and create problems for us, for the neighbors, and for the county.
Yeah.
The state is officially in charge of the investigation. They have stepped in. The county sheriffs have been told all questions are directed to the Department of Criminal Investigation. They are not to speak to media. They are not to speak to anybody. I have been in pretty close contact with a couple of reporters that are keeping me as updated as they're getting. And that was part of why they were out here the other day, was to supposedly meet with the deputy. And in the middle of the day, about 2 hours before they were supposed to meet, they got told, we can't. Not going to happen. I can't talk to you about it at all.
Yep.
So again, now you're looking at state authorities being involved. So our very laid back sheriff deputies are not even going to be the ones that are going to be mad at you. Now we got Des Moines people that will be very, very, very upset.
It's a little different.
Please just, I understand the curiosity, but let us have some peace. Yeah. We will all find out as it happens, and there is zero to see.
Yeah, definitely. And Patrick, honestly, again, like, I want to thank you for, I mean, just taking the time, hanging out with us, talking shop, and clearing things up too at the same time, and answering some of the questions that we had. I mean, it's been cool. It's been informative, and we appreciate the hell out of it. This probably, I mean, if you don't mind, this probably won't be the last time we have you on. You know what I mean? Like, but still,
Well, like I told you guys, I'm not shy. and I am more than willing to put out any information that I have, and I will always try to give as factual of information. I limit my partial truths to the kids. They're about the only people that I don't tell the whole truth to. I have no shame. I really don't. If I do something stupid, I'm going to claim it.
Yeah, I feel that too.
But yeah, and I'm more than willing to come back on. You guys want, just reach out. If I have anything to add, I will. Feel free to throw me questions. You guys have me on Messenger. Anything that you might think I might be able to clarify on, let me know.
That'd be great, man. That'd be great. And if you don't mind, hang on real quick, and I'll talk to you right after we wrap this up, if that's cool with you.
Yeah,
just real
sounds
quick.
good.
All right. But everybody else, we are going to let you go. Good doctor, do you got anything to say before we bounce?
Yeah, if you guys out there listening have any thoughts on the case or any questions for Patrick or anybody else we might have on in the future about this, call us at 913-730-7255 or email us. Go to the website, Ectoplasm Show. You can find all of that online. At the very beginning of the episode, we forgot to mention our network is Podbelly. Go to podbelly.net and check them out and say hi. So thanks, Patrick. Thanks for reaching out to us.
Yes.
We appreciate it. I mean, it made us feel, really good that you reached out to us as, you heard the show is kind of passed around after we talked about it. And, because if we were like, really blatantly trying to take advantage of this case, you probably wouldn't have reached out to us. So we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh, anytime. I like information. I love truthful information being out there. The more there is, the better we all are.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah,
100%.
Like I mentioned, with how the telephone game's gone in the articles, it gets so quickly twisted. There's a lot of, again, why I haven't done an interview. Either tomorrow or 10 years from now, they'll twist it away some way where I'm the dumb redneck going, oh, yeah, he killed people.
They'll definitely try to sensationalize something, anything really that they can, but yeah, that's for damn sure. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, on that happy little note, we are going to let you go, and we will talk to you all soon. Peace out.